Hello guys, so in this video we're going to be working with the Print Pro plugin. Now this plugin is all about giving you full control over how content is printed inside your Bubble application. So instead of users printing a messy page with broken layouts or missing styles, you can control exactly what gets printed and whether that's a specific element, a group, or even a full page. You can also work with custom styling, dynamic content, and even generate clean print-ready documents like invoices. So first, let's get this set up. Go ahead and open the Bubble application where you want to use this plugin. Now head over to the Plugins tab on the left and click Add Plugins on the top right. Once the marketplace opens, search for Print Pro by zeroqode. You'll see that it's available either as a subscription or a one-time purchase. Go ahead, complete the payment, and install the plugin into your application. Once installed, if you scroll down, you'll see that the plugin comes with elements, events, and actions. Most of the real work we'll be doing is through workflow actions. Now let's move over to the Design tab on the Elements panel, search for Print Pro Toolkit, and drag it onto your page. This element is required because it allows us to trigger all the print actions later in our workflows. There's not much configuration needed here. Just placing it on the page is enough. Before we go into workflows, there's one important setup step. We need to enable element IDs because the plugin relies on them to know what to print. So go to Settings, then General, scroll down to Advanced Options, and make sure Expose the option to add an ID attribute to HTML elements is checked. Once that's done, come back to your design. Now you can assign IDs to any element or group you want to print. Let's get into some workflow examples. Now let's go through the different ways you can use this plugin. 1. Printing a single element by ID. Let's start simple. On my page, I have a button called Print Element. When this button is clicked, we run a workflow. We select the action Print Element by ID. Now here's where the ID comes in. For example, I have a chart on my page, and I've given it an ID like Print It. So in the workflow, I just enter that ID and then provide a file name. Now on the preview page, when I click the button, only that specific element gets printed and nothing else on the page. 2, printing a group of elements. Next, let's say you want to print multiple items together. For example, I have a group that contains a table and a chart. This group also has its own ID. So on my print group button, I run a workflow with the plugin action print elements print toolkit. Here, I reference the toolkit element on our page and then pass in the group's ID. If you want to print multiple elements, you can even separate their IDs with commas. Now, when I preview and click the button, everything inside that group gets printed together, clean and structured. 3, printing custom HTML content, econ. Now let's take it a step further. Sometimes you don't just want to print existing elements, you want to print HTML content. For that, we use another element called Print Pro Viewer. So go to the Assets panel, search for it, and add it to your page. And on the HTML field in the plugin element, we reference the HTML content. Now I have a button called Print HTML Element. When this button is clicked, we run the action to print HTML template print toolkit HTML. Here we pass in an HTML value, for example, from an input field or dynamic data. We also reference the Print Pro Viewer element and give it a file name. When I preview and click the button, you'll see that the HTML content is rendered and ready to print. This is especially useful for things like invoices or custom documents. 4, viewing and printing PDFs. Finally, let's look at working with PDFs. Go to the Elements panel and add a PDF Viewer element. This element is very simple. It just takes a PDF URL. On my page, I have an input where I can paste a PDF link. Once I enter the link, the PDF is displayed directly inside the viewer. From here, users can view the document as needed. Now let's quickly preview everything. When I click Print Element, it prints just that one chart. When I click Print Group, it prints everything inside the group. When I use Print HTML, it generates and prints custom content. And for PDFs, once I paste a link, the document shows up instantly in the viewer. And that's how you can use the Print Pro plugin to fully control printing inside your Bubble application. It's especially useful for things like invoices, reports, and any scenario where layout and formatting really matter. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via the chatbot on the Zero Code website or by email at support@zerocode.com.